Ginsberg from BourbonStreetShots.com, used to be Hornets 247. Your initial impressions of the trade, what do you think?
Well, my initial impression was that I thought we may have given up a little too much, looking at both Nerlens Noel and the 2014 pick. But I've warmed up to it. I've never had a question about Jrue Holiday's talent. The guy is extremely talented. He's only 23 years old. He'll fit the culture here. We talked to some writers for the 76ers, and they love him. He's a very personable guy. So I'm excited to see him play for this team.
The Pelicans were very bad offensively in the final 2 minutes of games. How many games were they close and it could have gone either way that they could not get a shot, could not get a good shot? To me, he seems like a guy that can sure help solve that problem right away. Agreed?
Yeah, absolutely. He's one of those guys, his confidence isn't an issue. If he misses like 4 or 5 shots, it's fine. He's going to keep going at it, and he should because he's a good player. So more importantly, this gives the Pelicans options. You know, with Eric Gordon, Ryan Anderson, Anthony Davis, they have a bunch of different guys that they can go to for that last shot.
And you mentioned 23 years old. I think that's a big factor. What might this mean for Greivis Vasquez? One of the great breakout players, maybe not a great defensive player at this point in his career, but certainly a valuable asset. I think he's better as a six-man coming off the bench, where he can really help you play in one or the two. How do you see Greivis fitting in given this trade?
Well, I agree with you completely, but the question is, does he accept that role as, you know, as a sixth man? He's really, like you said, he's overmatched on defense. He's tall, but he's not that fast. So I think this is an ideal role for him. And the fact he can guard, he can play, you know, point guard, he can play off the bench, shooting guard, he can play up to 3 positions probably off the bench. So I think this is going to be a great situation for him initially. The question is, can they sell him on being a backup here? And he's a restricted free agent after the season. So the contract comes into play, whether the Pelicans can afford him.
That will be a decision that will have to be made, but at least for this year you would have him. Now, with the Holiday deal apparently done, the most glaring weakness appears to be at small forward. CBSSports.com ranks the best available small forwards, and stories today say New Orleans is interested in Denver's Andre Iguodala, a great defensive player who could seriously elevate the Pelicans roster. Then a similar player in Andre Kirilenko. Kirilenko, though, is 32 with an injury history. Then Mike Dunleavy, an interesting prospect and former Florida Gator Corey Brewer, who's resurrected his career. Pure shooter Kyle Carver, the super athletic Chase Budinger, Al Farouk, and Dorell Wright. First of all, talking about Andre Iguodala, do you see that as a legitimate possibility? He seems like a Monty Williams kind of guy, agreed?
Absolutely, and you can't forget he also played with Jrue Holiday in Philadelphia, so that could help him get him here, I think. But I think if you bring in a guy like Iguodala or even Kirilenko, and if he stays healthy, this is a team that can contend for the playoffs instantly. I like Iguodala. He brings a really strong defensive mindset. He's one of the best wing defenders in the league. Monty Williams would love a player like him, so he'd be great. Kirilenko, like I said, if he can stay healthy, he's one of those guys. He's a great defender in the post or outside. It's one of those guys Monty would like. I'm pretty sure either of those players, but they'll be pretty expensive is the other thing.
Give me a name if they decide they don't have that kind of money. Give me a name or two that you like.
Dorell Wright and Martell Webster are 2 players that I like. I think we have to look at 3 things for the small forward position. You have to look at defense, rebounding, and 3-point shooting, which you can say that for like any team would love that. But this isn't a situation where the Pelicans need to find someone that can go and score 20 points a game. You know, they've got enough options on offense, I think. So Dorell Wright and Webster, they're both 6'7", 6'8". I think Dorell Wright's actually 6'9". They both have really long wingspans. They can defend. They can shoot the 3, and I think both of those options wouldn't cost nearly as much and could be suitable.
And whether or not the Pelicans are a playoff team will probably depend on what they do at small forward. Agreed?
Yeah, very much so.
Mason Ginsberg, terrific job. Thank you very much from BourbonStreetShots.com. Back with more 4th Down on 4 in a minute.